Hello everyone, this is Zephyr with your ChildTrax support team, and in this video I'm going to show you some changes that we have made to adding diagnosis within the system. So I'm here in Brutus's client page, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the diagnosis section over here. And as you can see, it looks a little different than before, and at the very top here you'll see two different buttons. One is adding for adding DSM-4 and one for adding DSM-5. Now the DSM-4 is where we're going to start, as this is the one that's going to be most familiar to you. So I'm going to select the diagnosis date, and the first thing you're going to notice is that there's an option that says search for diagnostician. So if I were to type, let's say doctor right here, as you can see, you can bring up every doctor who's been entered into the system as a diagnostician. If I were to select one of those, say Dr. Whodunit, it will automatically fill out all this information. This is just a lot easier on you guys. That way you don't have to keep entering the same information over and over. However, for this example, I'm going to start over here. I'm going to create a new diagnostician just to show you how it works. So enter the date. The new diagnostician, I'm going to say Dr. Brian Smith. For address, I'm just going to use addresses that I've used in the past. And entering the GAFs and the time frames, all those things is going to be the same exact way as it used to be. I'm going to hit add new, and then I can start adding my conclusion. Again, same thing as before, and add my conclusion. So when I go back to the diagnosis screen now, you'll see that that diagnosis is entered. And it's also been cleaned up, so it's a lot more aesthetically pleasing when you actually look in here and you can see everything about that diagnosis. Now where the biggest changes are going to be are in the new DSM-5 diagnosis button here. So when I click that button, same thing, to the date diagnosed, and then I can do the search for diagnostician. So I'm actually going to start typing Brian. As you can see, he came up right here. I click his name, all that information is entered for me. Now the biggest change here is for the conclusion. So here, instead of having a drop down menu with all the items and then just have to select each item individually, I can search for the diagnosis by the code. So an F20 code will show those, F40s, or I can actually start typing what the disorder is. So I can say attention deficit disorder. And as you can see, they all came up, each specific one. I'm going to select one. And everything is automatically filled out for me from there. I can enter the specifier and the notes, and then add my conclusion. And now when I go back to the diagnosis screen, you can see that DSM-5 diagnosis is entered here. When I go to the report, it will actually fill out all that information for me, and it looks a lot more aesthetically pleasing within the report. Now this will conclude the new changes to the diagnosis items within ChildTrax.